What's more awkward than staying at a friend's house and waking up before them, thinking somebody rang the door to your apartment, and so you open the door but nobody is there except some guy walking down the hallway, and he happens to be walking by your door and you make eye contact with him then close your door. Their parents fighting. Parent beating the shit out of your friend while you are still in the room. Edit. Or worse, your friend beating his elderly parents / disabled sibling. Ah yes, this wall here is made out of wall. Starts awkwardly playing with the dog. Getting your period at a friend's house in the middle of the night. Staying the night with a friend and her bed was just a twin, so we decided to share her older brother's bed, which was a queen. He wasn't gonna be home. Well, I started my period in the middle of the night and left a stain on his sheets. I heard about that for the next couple years in high school. OMG. I have a similar story. I was over at my BF's cousin's mom's house when the mom was out of town. There were like half a dozen of us, mostly still teenagers. So we decided to watch porn as a group and there were some drugs. I took it, the Law did, not having any idea how strong it was and never having done an opioid ever before. My BF and I used the mom's bed. I remember when we started hooking up he was saying, "Wow, you're so wet," but I hear that a lot and was too high to realize it was my period. When we woke up the next morning, the inside of her bed looked like a crime scene. I had to leave, but my BF said he'd clean it. Apparently his version of cleaning was to pretend nothing happened and just remake the bed. So it wasn't until many days later, after the mom came back from the East Coast, and only right when she went to get in bed did she see it. She was understandably upset. It's been well over a decade since this happened, and I'm still friends with the cousin whose house that took place at. I think I'll text him now. P. Having a friend camp out at your house and his grandpa comes over at 6:30 AM, wakes him up, and takes him to McDonald's for breakfast. Was everyone just left there alone? We were in the backyard camping. His grandpa came over, woke him up, and took home to breakfast. Never let my parents know. Staying at a friend's house and waking up with them sitting in a chair by your bed and watching you sleep. Lol, this was my college roommate, so creepy. Being out of everyone's conversation. Then you try to join in, and there's further awkwardness with a brief silence. And everyone turn around and be like. Especially worse when everyone is very buddy with each other, talking about some anecdote that they all fondly remember, and you somehow end up jumping into the conversation because someone asked you something, and it's too late to back down. Wetting the bed at said friend's house? I did not need to be reminded of this. There's a story attached to this. Not op, but here is my story. We were having a sleepover. We were sleeping beside each other and our sisters in the sides. He peed himself, so the water traveled through the sheets and onto my pants. I told him that, and he said it was the reverse point. I swear I didn't pee myself. I work at a pool. I did a locker room check and saw my 9th grade teacher naked. We locked eyes. He recognized me, then in full nude started a conversation with me. We talked for 10 minutes before I managed to leave that conversation. Edit. Nothing happened aside from us talking, for all of you with dirty minds. Having a little kid stare at you through the crack in a bathroom stall door who then cries after you say bruh. Never experienced this, and I don't want to. That's creepy as fuck. Visit any school. Yeah, I'll just show up at a school and use the loo to watch kids looking through the cracks. That's creepier than the original comment here. Peeing your pants while someone is tickling you. I had bladder control issues as a kid. This made me uncomfortable AF. This one time, while I was having dinner at my friend's house, his dad told a joke, and I was laughing so much that I farted, and it was awkward. Woke up to my friend's parents both naked. Their mom was naked on the couch smoking a cigarette and playing Tetris. The dad came walking out of their bedroom naked and went to the kitchen and made himself breakfast. I just turned around and went back to the room and went to sleep. Just like, nope, not ready for this. Should have stripped naked and played 2-player Tetris with the mother so that when his friend woke up, awkward level would be ramped to 11. Their mom asking if you're hungry, but you declined, even though you're starting to feel hungry. Then you can't ask for food because you already declined. so you wait for your friend to wake up and have breakfast together. It's even worse when you're shy. Strongly relate. Stayed at a friend's house and woke up around 7:30 in the morning. Went to use the bathroom, then walk out and has his mom ask me if I was hungry. I said no. Then my friend wakes up 30 minutes later. I decided to have breakfast with him, but on the inside I'm dying from embarrassment. I was very shy around new people, or if I wasn't comfortable with the situation. Yeah, I used to feel the same way, but now that I'm older I know that adults understand. If I could give young me one piece of advice, it would be to be less intimidated by adults and parents. My kids have sleepovers like every weekend. I never ask 6 AM. I just start making everything I have that's edible and send it down to the video game dungeon. Having their little brothers and sisters wake you up and then realize 3 things. You are on your back, you have no blanket, and you have an erection. I've had a friend's younger sister get into bed with us. We were sharing a double bed and pee where I was sleeping. My friend didn't wake up and no one else noticed except my friend's brother, who was waking up for football practice. I had to get dressed at 5 AM and the brother let me sleep in his bed. Lol. He did you a solid right there. She did him a liquid. Your friend being yelled at by their parents and the parents trying to drag you into it. Friends' parents, I've absolutely had enough of your behavior, Taylor. This is just ridiculous. Look, Furphy Murphy, you're his best friend. What do you think of all this? Everyone looks at you. I don't know really. Desperately avoiding all eye contact. Clogging a toilet in a public bathroom, at a friend's house, or at a parent's friend's house. Clogging a public toilet isn't too bad. I once clogged a toilet at work. The log wasn't going anyway, and I was actually quite proud. I would say, when you wait for the teacher to finish talking to another person, so you can ask them to use the restroom when you really need to go. Basically, would you rather just save up the embarrassment and just go back to your desk, possibly resulting in somebody else going in the line to ask, or do you just wait there awkwardly while the teacher is finishing up their conversation? In 5th grade, Eric put my hand in a warm glass of water at a sleepover in the hopes of making me wet the bed. At some point in the night, the glass was upturned and spilled to soak my t-shirt from the stomach down. He claimed to the others that I'd pissed myself, but nothing smelled of piss. Everyone acted disgusted when I asked them to smell my shirt to prove him wrong. It was to be a bad year at school. Eric is currently doing 2 years for assault in the Southwest. Fuck you, Eric. You may have convinced everyone I had a weak bladder 23 years ago, but at least I didn't wreck my life over some little boss bat. Having someone stay over at your house and waking up after them probably. Edit. What's worse than both is staying over at someone's house and sleeping in significantly later than them. Nothing I hate more than waking up and everyone else is busy doing other shit, and as soon as you enter the room they all stop and say look who's finally up / good morning sleeping beauty or some variation. When my dad and stepmom first started dating, I got along really well with my stepsister. We wanted to have a sleepover after their first official date. The next morning we were eating ice cream and I finished and then asked her if I could have another bowl. She threw a fit that I was eating all of her ice cream. Her mom told her I was a guest and that there was always more ice cream. Then my stepsister cried out, well, when is she leaving? Yup. I'd say that was significantly more awkward. Saying hi to someone you're just acquainted with who is scrolling on their phone and they don't hear you. Now you're thinking, are they ignoring me? BC, they are doing something important on the phone. Did they not hear me at all for the same reason? Do I assert myself, risking that I may annoy them? It would look so much worse to not follow up at all in front of all these PPL who just saw and are secretly waiting to see how this awkward social situation will turn out. Reminds me of the time there was someone who looked like my mum at a store, so I called out, but she didn't respond. Repeated about 5 times until I got close enough to realize it wasn't her. I've also walked off with the wrong person as a kid too. Pooping in their toilet and then finding out it won't flush. Edit. Yay, we all poop. Or just needing to poop at someone's place and their toilet is right next to the living room or wherever everyone is, and you think that you can make it a quiet one but all of a sudden it's the windiest you've ever had. Getting caught masturbating while staying at a friend's house. Better than your mum catching you though. Being the first one to walk into a classroom with a teacher in it. Since it's your class, you can't just leave once you walk in. But you look like a lonely idiot with the teacher trying to make small talk with you until others come in. As a teacher, I just say hi to the student and sit there quietly, unless they talk to me. Awkward small talk is the worst. There's no way I'm going to force a student to suffer through that.